And all of this is good training for Janja, just reminding herself how to do this comp thing. Very slow from Janja. Wow.
That's what I thought.
The only thing stopping you from climbing like Janja Garnbret and Tomoa Narasaki is clearly the shoes. That's definitely the only factor preventing you from being on the big stage. Well, I know exactly what shoes they used and the 24 other athletes who competed at the IFSC World Cup. I looked at the men's finals that included 20 athletes instead of the usual 6 that were meant to be included. This was due to the rain delay the other day that prevented the competition from starting. I also looked at the female finalists, which included 6 athletes total. After about 3 hours of going through the footage from the finals, I finally found the shoes that each of the athletes used. I would like to preface that I figured out each of the shoes the best I could based on the provided footage and information on the athletes' Instagrams. So I'm praying that they're all correct. I would also like to say that I'm probably going to mess up a couple of the pronunciations here of your favourite athletes and possibly your favourite brands too, so apologies in advance. Anyway, at this event there were a total of 7 brands which were in use. These were Scarpa, Adidas, La Sportiva, Unparalleled, Madrock, Evolv and Akun. Before I reveal the top shoe brands, I would like to say that there was a tie for first, and then 2 shoe brands that were only being used by 1 athlete each. Can you guess which of these they were? If you guessed Evolv and Akun, you would be correct. This was followed by Madrock shoes, which were only used by 2 athletes. Above this were Adidas and Unparalleled, which were used by 3 athletes respectively. And finally, at the top we had Scarpa and La Sportiva, with 8 athletes each, which meant that these 2 companies took up nearly 62% of the field. Starting at the bottom of the list we have Akun, which was used by Arnze Ferrach, and they specifically used the Akun Fury. I believe that he is specifically sponsored by Akun, so this is probably why. Another sponsorship was Collin Duffy, who was sponsored by Evolv and therefore using the Evolv Zenist shoes. We then had Madrock with 2 athletes. They were Mikhail Moem, who was sponsored by Madrock, and Sam Averju. I believe both these athletes were using Madrock drones. However, I'm not confident that Sam was, as the footage was terrible. Next up we have Unparalleled, with 3 athletes in the form of Gianluca Piosk, Zilu Lau and Tomoa Narasaki. Gianluca and Zilu were using the flagship LV and flagship Pro. And then we have Tomoa Narasaki using his signature shoe, the TN Pro. The TN, of course, standing for Tomoa Narasaki. Go figure. Anyway, Tomoa actually placed first in the competition, so maybe the shoes were the reason for that. I didn't see any other athletes using them. Next we have the 510 Adidas users, which all used the high angle pros. These were Maximilian Milne, Toby Roberts, and of course Janja Garnbret, who absolutely dominated the finals. Finally we had the big 2 brands with La Sportiva and Scarpa. La Sportiva had more variants in the model used by athletes than Scarpa, so let's start there. A total of 5 out of 8 La Sportiva athletes chose to use the Squamas. We then had 2 of the 8 using the solutions, with Jacob Scuba maybe switching to the solution comps halfway through the competition, but I'm unsure on that as the video footage was unclear. Finally, we had the La Sportiva theories, which were used by Ritsu Kayotani. I believe these were the women's version of the theories as well. Last but not least, we have the Scarpas. Out of the Scarpa athletes, 7 of them were using the Scarpa Dragos, which makes it the most used shoe in the entire competition. This was followed by the La Sportiva Swamas. The only athlete who wasn't using Scarpa Dragos was Satoshi Nishida, who was using Scarpa Chimeras. Overall, I was expecting to see more La Sportiva solutions or solution comps, but the data clearly shows that if you want the best chance to become a professional climber, you better use the Scarpa Dragos. Damn it.